everybody, welcome on back to Aloe's Greenhouse. I'm reporting to you live today in my new Animal Crossing pajamas because we're going to be doing some dream address tours today. But not just any dream address tours, I'm going to be taking you all on a journey throughout the last few years of all of my Animal Crossing dream addresses. I have about 10 Animal Crossing dream addresses that I've made since 2021, and I'm really excited to share them all with you over the course of the next however many videos that it takes. Today we're going to be touring 2 of my dream addresses, and we're going to be starting in chronological order, so these are my first 2 dream addresses. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. And without further ado, let's tour my dream addresses, shall we? Oh my goodness, look, it's my baby. I just loaded into the game. I would love to come over. Thank you so much. Let's go hang out at Bestie Melba's house. This is my favorite villager, for those who don't know. I'm currently drinking coffee out of my merch mug that has Melba on it. If you would like to check out my merch page, it's definitely a little bit more geared towards my Twitch community, but feel free to go check it out. Link will be in the description. I'm not sure if I want to decorate her house for this island's dream address. I might just leave it as it is because it is so nostalgic to me. I think I'm ready to go tour my dream addresses, but thank you for having me over, Melba. The first island we're gonna tour today is an island called Zootopia. This is actually my original 2020 island that I redecorated with a farm core fairy core theme. I'm very proud of this idea, and I love this island so much. I called the island Zootopia because this was my original 2020 island. I wanted a Disney-themed name that was also animal-related. One of my friends from college had already used Neverland as her island idea, which I would have loved to use had she not already had that island name. So I was like, oh, like animals, Animal Crossing, Zootopia, Disney, haha. Yeah, I have some regrets about it now, but that's okay. I haven't been to this island in ages. I'm so excited. I have so many memories on this island, and at least half of the time that I've played Animal Crossing has been on this island, so it's good to be back. Oh, this island is so nostalgic for me. I'm gonna cry. Here's the map for this island. I have a lot of my original villagers on this island. I didn't necessarily theme the villagers so much because there were so many villagers that I got in 2020 that I refused to get rid of. Those being Henry, Poppy, Melba, Gonzo, and Pashmina. Luckily, some of them kind of fit the theme already, so they weren't too far off. But then for this theme, I specifically found Lolly, Dom, Sasha, Cookie, and Tipper. So let's get started with the tour. Down here, we have a little bike rental area. This trash can, I actually placed it here to get rid of a bunch of extra flowers before I posted my dream address publicly, and I forgot to remove it before uploading the dream address, but I don't time travel on this island, so I couldn't go back and change it. I decorated all my beaches to have this little overgrown vibe. I also left some presents for whoever tours the dream address, just a little outfit and some little items to hold. I guess for old time's sake, we should just put them on and carry around whatever I left for myself, because I honestly don't remember what any of these items are. I think the yellow ones are clothing. Oh yeah, I love the mom's handmade apron item in this game. This outfit is so ridiculously me. So many items that came in the 2.0 update inspired this theme. Oh, the flower basket. I want to carry the flower basket. We can go like this. Oh, that's so sweet and so cute. I'm really proud of this entrance. Didn't have a lot of room to make a really cool entrance on this island because my resident services is so freaking close to the airport. As you can see over here, they're very close, and the resident services itself is only 6 tiles away from the beach, which was insanely hard to work with at first for what I wanted to do, but I was able to make it work. From now on, I map hunt like crazy because I just took the first map I was given back in 2020, but now I actually try to look for certain things when I am picking a new island to start decorating. This is the only beach I think I have actually decorated, and this is Cookie's house. I gave her a little tea party situation on the beach with all the little teddy bears. This build was inspired by one of my friends. Up this way we have Nook's Cranny, and then a little picnic spot up here. I love taking pictures in this area. It's really fun when my villagers stop in and sit down over here, and then I can join them in the other chair. Over here, we have Henry's house. I gave him a little winery and a little bar area. I was so proud of this build at the time, and I still am. I really, really like every single build that I did on this island. It's cluttered, but it's not super overwhelming, I guess, to look at. It's very detailed, and I really love what I did with the place. Back up here, we have Tipper's house with all the milk-related stuff, of course, because she is a cow. This little umbrella is like the cutest thing ever. I'm pretty sure that this might be inspired by Harvest Moon, but I didn't grow up with Harvest Moon, so I'm not entirely sure. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But we got lucky with all the milk and cheese items and this tank situation that we got in the 2.0 update. Like, I was shocked that I was able to pull that off. Over here is one of the coolest parts of this island. We have ourselves a little land bridge. Look at this. I was so proud of this build, and I still am, and I still love doing land bridges. But none of the ones I've made in my more recent islands can compare to this one at all. Over across the land bridge, what's really funny is we have the land bridge, but then at the other side we have an actual bridge made by the game. And then over here, we have our actual farmland. I wanted to create a big open space for all of the crops in the game. I wanted it to be at the back of the island as well, so it could be like a cute little viewpoint. We got the pumpkins in all of the colors. We got, these are actually coconut trees that I planted to look like something else. I don't even know what that would possibly be. And then I got to use this little rock back here to store a bunch of other like farming supplies, the silo, the windmill. And then a little tractor over here. Is this realistic? Not in the slightest. Is it fun? Absolutely. And then over here, right next to the farm, we have a little farm-to-table restaurant. I took farm-to-table incredibly seriously by putting them literally right next to each other. And this is Pashmina's house, by the way. Down over here, we also have a little date set up. I imagine this to be a very romantic spot for a cutesy little dinner. More over this way, we have Dom's house, which has a little watermelon farm outside of it. I didn't decorate any of the villager interiors on this island except for Lolly's house because Nintendo kind of did her dirty with her original house. Moving right along over this way, in this little back area, I have a little hidden lavender farm. I love, love, love using the purple hyacinths to look like lavender, and I put some blue ones in there too to add some difference into the build. I also like using the yellow hyacinths to look like corn as well. Up here we have the little plant shop as well. This is Poppy's house. I love adding movement into a lot of my builds and verticality, if that's even a real word, I don't know. So we got this little spinning Cosmos fan. That's not a Cosmo, that's a Windflower. The Windflower fan. And then the Cosmos shower over here. I like to put trees anywhere that I can in the little greenhouses, and I'll always also be using... What is Lolly doing? Okay. She's trying her best to walk down the stairs. She's so close, guys. So close. Anyway, this little path over here... Hold on. This is a really pretty viewpoint. Let me do the thing with the camera. This little viewpoint over here also leads to the museum. And over here, we have a little mushroom farm combined with a little classroom area. The way that this is built is really annoying because you have to go all the way around the mushroom farm to get into the classroom area. I figured that would make sense right outside the museum. And then the mushrooms had like a similar cottagecore vibe, I think, to what I was going for here. So I put those next to each other. And then we got the museum back here. Back down over here, we have this cute little pig farm over here. The piggy bank item that was added in the 2.0 update was absolutely perfect for this. Also, the wheat field item, the amount of wheat fields in this save. The amount of wheat fields I have on this island is insane, but it's such a perfect filler space item, and I use it all the time even still. Back down this way, we're gonna end up almost where we started. We have our little Able Sisters area that's right next to the other side of the waterfall and land bridge. And then over here, we have this little lookout point over the lake. This is one of my favorite spots on the whole island. I try to get pictures here every single season in the game. Over on the other side of the lake is Gonzo's house. I wanted to give him a little secluded, little remote grandpa-style fishing cabin. Back down this way, resident services is over here to the left, but where we are right now is our little farmer's market. I have a little Brewster coffee food truck set up over here. We got a little honey station over here. We got dairy products. We got baked goods as well. I will take you all this way in a second, but I want to show you the rest of the farmer's market first. We got candles and plants over here. And then in this area of the farmer's market, we got some fruits and veggies. And then over here, we got mushrooms, we got bugs, and we got fish. Because this is Animal Crossing, so I guess that would make realistic sense for what would be at a farmer's market within this game. And then over here, we have a little station for music and books. I figured we could add more than just food to make it more of a little interesting area to hang out in, and then a little seating area for anybody who wants to enjoy the food that they got or a little book that they got to read. Maybe they get a coffee from Brewster's station and a little cookie from over here and then a book, and then they're just gonna sit and read it all day. That would be very cutesy vibes. Up here we have my little rock garden. Making rock gardens in this game is kind of a nightmare. So I haven't done it in a while, but this one wasn't too bad. But this little rock garden I think is pretty simple yet effective. It gets the job done. And it fits the fairy core vibes quite well. And then over here we have the lake. We have this little fishing dock over here that looks over the rest of the lake. And Gonzo's house over there from a different angle. The next part of the island is over here. This area of the island is more woodsy and more residential, I guess. So over here we have our little apple cider farm. I wanted to make a little apple tree area situation and then put like a little apple cider, apple pie, little shop over here. By this corner on the beach, we have Melba's house, which I gave her a little farm inspired by the 1.0 furniture items before we were given actual plants to crop. Nope, crops to plant. Oh, there I am. Hey, Queen. I'm just happy to be here. So true, bestie. I loved doing little builds like that just utilize items that aren't meant to be real plants and turning them into real crops, which is super funny. And then over here is my house. I'm not going to tour my house on this island because it's really not that interesting in there, and that'll leave something for you guys to go look at if you choose to tour my dream address as well. I didn't decorate the dock on this island for some reason. I kind of wish that I did, but you'll see that I did decorate my docks on a lot of my other islands in the future. I don't think I had any specific ideas for it, which is why I didn't end up doing that. Following along this path, I kind of spoiled it earlier in the video. I totally forgot that I actually did do this on this island too. I was thinking of my fall-themed island when I was talking about using the yellow hyacinths to look like corn, but I also did it here, apparently. I haven't toured this dream address in a really long time, but I loved building this, like, fake barn build. That was really, really hard, but it all came together so nicely, and I love the viewpoint. We have this little path over here that leads over to another little picnic spot area. This is Lolly and Sasha's houses. Lolly's house is decorated, but unfortunately she is not home, so I can't show you what the house looks like. Back over here, we have this little path that leads this way, and it being next to the water, you could probably guess that this is Gonzo's house that I've been talking about that has his little fishing dock spot. Over this way, we have the first build that I actually did on this new version of the island, because this island used to be my original 2020 island, so I completely took down my original 2020 island to build this one, and I kind of regret it a little bit, but at the same time, I love the way this island looks, and I kind of don't care anymore. But we have this little tree house build. I'm so proud of this one. I knew when I first went into this island that I wanted to make a cutesy little cozy tree house build, and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. I love this little Polaroid custom design. We got some books up here. I feel like this island, I did a really good job of balancing the two themes that I chose, because you would never think to put fairy core and farm core together. But over here, we have the secret beach that has some ducks on it following their little mama. I love this build idea so much. I've used it on multiple other islands since then. For the last area of this island I have to show you, we're gonna take a little journey behind the back of the island. This is not a part of the island that I'd recommend you actually walk through when you're touring the Dream Address, but I made the back part of the island like that walkable to be accessible for me and the fact that I was building this island. So over here is the campsite. We have this little just hidden secluded campsite in the back of the island. I decorated the peninsula to be like a little hangout area for whoever is camping. And then if we come down this way, we'll end up back at the beach where we started and where Cookie's house is. And I think that's all I have to share with you all on this island. This island is so nostalgic for me, and it was such an emotional whirlwind getting to tour it again today for the first time in a really long time. So yeah, we're going to go and tour one of my next islands, which is a completely opposite vibe from this one. It's called Evercrest. This next island I'm going to show you all is my favorite island I've ever done, which is kind of sad because it's the second island I ever did. So that really low-key means that it all went downhill from here, at least in my personal opinion. But my next island after this one that you'll see in my next Animal Crossing Dream Address video is also one of my favorites. But this one, what I like about it also is that I can search it by name and not by Dream Address because it doesn't have as popular of a name as islands like Zootopia and Pumpkin, for example. This island is an abandoned city core island. There's a lot of lore and storytelling behind it. And here it is. This is the island. You can search it by name, or you can use my Dream Addresses little Canva link that has all of my Dream Addresses listed in it. I will leave it linked in the description down below in case you want to check out this or any of my other Animal Crossing Dream Addresses. I have lore written down for this island, so I need to pull up the document so I can read it. Yeah, so as you can see already, very opposite vibes from the first island that we toured today. So the lore behind this island. What was once a prosperous town has fallen into the hands of an evil scientist who only cares about his own profit. His illegal experimentation using the magic carried by the glowing moss has led to the destruction of Evercrest's natural environment. Though most have abandoned the town, some have stayed to help restore the beauty that Evercrest once held. This is their story. Let me show you the map first. This map has a lot of pathing on it because it's mostly just like fake buildings and like streets and sidewalks. Each one of these villagers was very intentionally picked to have a specific plot line. So we have Petrie representing the good scientist. Phil runs the ramen shop. Gabby and Deirdre are farmers and they are married. This is Grizzly. He's a little lumberjack. I describe him as if Shane from Stardew Valley was a lumberjack. That's kind of his character on this island. Derwin actually was one of my starters on this island. I wasn't originally planning to have him, but then I absolutely fell in love with him, so I decided to keep him. His role, I guess, is that he was working for the villain, but then realized the catastrophic environmental damage that he was causing and was like, no, thank you, I'm done. This is the evil scientist, Cobb. Carrie, I described as, and I quote, a single mom who works 2 jobs, who loves her kids and never stops. My assumption is that she just didn't have the means, the funds to move out of Evercrest after everything happened, so she kind of had to stay, but she makes do with what she has, and she's a good mom. And then lastly, we have Daisy and Dobie, and their lore is that Dobie grew up on this island. He's been there since he was a kid, and now he's old and doesn't want to leave, kind of like Carl from Up. And then Daisy is his granddaughter who moved onto the island to live with him and take care of him. And let's get started on touring this island. I want to grab the little outfit that I left for myself because the one that I'm currently wearing is kind of just not the vibe. We're gonna hold the coffee because it's cold and I want a nice drink to keep me warm as I tour this sad, dreary, but really cool island. This, I guess, is like the main street area. It leads over this way towards the airport, which is right over here. As you can see, it is snowing on this island, but you can also tell that there's still grass on the ground. I very intentionally set this dream address to be on December 10th, knowing it would be snowing, but still have grass on the ground. I thought it would be really cool, industrial-looking vibes for what we're going for. Here is my airport. It's orange. Not very exciting. Here I am. Welcome to Evercrest. Thank you. We got this little bus stop over by the entrance. A very, very simple entrance. Over here, we have this sketchy little alleyway that's definitely not being used for anything illegal. That's not a pile of bones you see on the ground. Don't worry about it, okay? Over here, we have this little walkway that leads to this abandoned building. There's just going to be a lot of abandoned buildings on this island. That is essentially what this island is. Over here, I have a little construction zone as well. I loved building this. As soon as the 2.0 update came out and I saw all these furniture items, I knew I had to do an island with like an abandoned building where I could put this like construction set situation. If you also go around this abandoned building, you can see the inside of the building, which is also definitely not sketchy and illegal at all. And over here we have Carrie's house. She's just kind of has her own little flower field. One of the other pieces of lore on this island and the environmental destruction is that all of the color was stripped away from all the flowers because of the environmental damage, except for one flower, which I'll get to later. Over here, we have the post office. This was another build I was really excited to make with all the new 2.0 furniture items. This is also really fun because I was able to turn my mailbox into like an actual mailbox over here. So my house is a little bit down the road to the left of the island, but I put the mailbox over here because you'll see later that my house is not just my house. And then this item right here is actually a trash can, but it looks like a mailbox that you would see in New York City at least. Over here, we have a little laundromat that I love so much. This was also a build that I was really excited to make with all the new 2.0 furniture items. And then I have a little ATM outside that I did actually put there for my convenience, but I thought it fit the idea and the theme really well. And then down here is just another little street. I did decorate the beaches on this island, as I will show you in a second. This over here is right next to the airport. It's a little abandoned carnival. Looks a little haunted, a little dreary, a little scary. And then most of the beach over here is just kind of like trash. Over here we have our little boat port terminal. Lots of little boats, yachts, and more trash and more overgrownness, of course. Also down here, I've meant to show this before. Up here we also have Derwin's house. That's kind of inside the little abandoned building area. It's so cool. I love the way that I did this. And even now, like 3 years after doing this island, I'm like, damn! I just don't make islands like this anymore, guys. I don't make islands like this anymore. This island is so good. What happened to my Animal Crossing decorating skill? No, I'm still good at Animal Crossing. I'm still good at decorating in this game, but I was a lot better at it in 2022. Another abandoned building is off to this side, but on this side, we have a little ramen shop. This is what Phil's house is. I originally actually wanted Phil on the island to be like the corrupt mayor who was enabling the evil scientist, but I decided that Tom Nook would serve that idea a lot better, and I gave Phil a ramen shop instead. We got a little abandoned building over here, of course. I love making these abandoned buildings so much. And then over here, we have this little bike park rental, because what's in Allie Miller 23, Aloe's Greenhouse, Animal Crossing Island without that? I will take you to the right later on. That's my favorite part of the island, so I'm going to show it to you last. But we're going to head over here next and go up to this little forested, little suburban area of the island. This is Petrie's house. She is the good scientist on the island who I guess was brought here to help reverse the damage. Followed by my little secret beach down here. I like how cluttered it is, and yet it still works. This little spot over here with the seaweed is where the path to Red's boat would go when he's here. So I'm not blocking off anything, even though it is super cluttered and covered in furniture. Over here, we have the campsite. I don't remember who's in there, but they've been stuck in there for a really long time. This over here is the little lesbian farmers situation. We got Gabby and, Deirdre. These are their efforts to restore environmental safety onto the island. And then over here, I planted this one black Cosmo, and it breeded and created this white one. And I decided to leave it there as a sign of progress. And then up here, we have the little, what is this called? The little lumberjack area. This is where Grizzly lives in his little, I don't know, depression cave. Again, Shane from Stardew Valley if he was a lumberjack. Over here, we just have another little road that leads to some other areas of the island. Over here, we have this little food truck next to this beach. It's a little residential-y area of the beach. Would people realistically want to come here and relax? Probably not, with some more glowing moss and some more trash, of course. Over here, we have Daisy's house with some Nookazon packages in the mail, and Dobie's house with his little chair. I don't know what he gets out of living here except for committing to the bit of living in his childhood town, even though it's turned into this industrial mess. Over here, we have these other abandoned buildings just lining the streets. Look how detailed these are. My webcam is blocking it a little bit. Let me go to the other side. But I love these little abandoned buildings. They're a little hard to see from the sidewalk, but you can tell how much freaking detail I put into these. This must have taken me so many hours, so many streams. And then there's another one over here as well that leads down this way. We got the little fishing spot over here. I love this area so much. This area is so freaking cool. This was the first time I decorated a dock in the game, as I mentioned earlier, and I used a lot of like flower saplings, I guess, to create little overgrownness in this area. And then I put this little seating area for some reason. I think it's just because I needed to fill the spot with something. Over here, we have Nook's Cranny, but behind Nook's Cranny, we have a little dumpster, like junkyard kind of area. Back over here, we are by the airport in the front of the island again. Over in this direction, we have a little parking garage mixed with a little gas station. This was so fun to make. And then I learned the hard way over on this side that you can't move Blather's tent until you upgrade it to a building. So I put his tent on the beach, and I decided that I didn't want the museum to be upgraded, so I kind of just had to live with it being on the beach. But I really like the way that it turned out anyway. But now we're back over here. We're gonna go through the parking garage. And over here we have Able Sisters. It's across the street from the abandoned building over there. And next to Able Sisters, we have this little grocery store where people can come, you know, buy their food and stuff. All the new items from the 2.0 update also really served me well here. And over on this side, we have my house, which I did not turn into my house for the most part. We are going to go inside and take a look. My house is a little bar. My in-game character's backstory is that they moved to the island to help increase tourism by opening this little bar area. So we got a bar over here. Up in this room, there's a bathroom. I will let you all see that for yourself if you choose to tour the dream address. I blocked off the other two rooms to the side, but up here we have my apartment. It's a little studio apartment. And then down there, we have a little, like, speakeasy, like, dance club type area. Again, if you choose to tour my dream address yourself, I will leave the links to everything with the dream addresses in the description down below. This is also where my rock garden is on this island. I didn't really have any other good spot for it, so I kind of just tucked it in back here. I think a lot of the rocks naturally spawned there in the first place, so I was able to just, like, bring over the 4 or 3 others that happen to not be over there. The last part of the island I have to show you is over here. This is a little graffiti spot. I'm so proud of this idea. I love how I put a little color theory sheet over there as well. For the artists who did this needed a reference, you know? And then over here, I have a little graveyard on the peninsula. I always forget about this area when other people are touring my island. I would assume that Dobie's wife is buried here. Maybe some other people who were affected by the glowing moss. And I'm assuming that it was purposefully put there because right over here, we have the scientist lab up these stairs. If you go this way, you will find the agent of chaos himself, the evil scientist behind all of the environmental destruction on the island. This is the evil scientist lab. I loved getting to build this. Again, I feel like I keep repeating myself over and over again, but the 2.0 furniture items were absolutely perfect for this build, and then getting to mix that with some of the original furniture items in the game, getting to mix some of the glowing moss items with all the industrial, like, lab items as well. What's even more messed up is that if you go through this little tunnel area, you will get to Cobb's illegal glowing moss farm, where he farms all of his glowing moss for his illegal experiments. Very sketchy, very illegal, very not cutesy, not very demure, very mindful of him at all. But I love this part of my island so much, and the views from over here as well. We can enjoy them together with myself. Never mind, she's walking away from me. But I love seeing the two giant tanks in the background with the fences and the trees and the little bus stop. And also the decaying trees as well was a really nice add. Yeah, that's all I have to share for this island. Thank you so much for watching my video today. I had so much fun touring these two islands with you guys, and I can't wait to share the rest of them with you all in the future. That is all for this video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you so much for enjoying these dream address tours with me. I love taking trips down memory lane to see all the things that I've created in Animal Crossing. And I hope to see you all next time in my next video. Do something nice for yourself, do something nice for somebody else today, and I will see you all later. Bye!